dramatic effect in multiple areas. So, yep, on to the third topic of the 5 graphical components I was mentioning, which is effects. Effects has always been really a big topic in Battlefield because there are so many vehicles and so many different types of stuff happening in the game. You can't just script everything in multiplayer. Oh yeah, here should be a giant explosion. It needs to be stuff that just work out of the box. So it's different types of effects that interacts with the environment and that really are dynamic in a really interesting nature. So typically our effects are built up by thousands of both really small as well as really big particles. And we have both sprite particles, which are just pretty much just a quad being rendered with a texture on, as well as mesh particles, which are real meshes that rotate and fly around the environment. And we use a little bit of different types of stuff there. And one key thing that we found out when working with our effects is that the most important thing with effects is that it's not really the individual look of a specific effect and working on that in isolation. The most important thing with an effect is that it fits into the environment, that it interacts and fits in with the environment. And a big portion of this is lighting. Most games just use a single texture on their particles and they fly around there, and they can look pretty okay if it's a pretty static game or a pretty static lighting environment. But with our type of interaction in our environments, we found that adding proper lighting to our effects in our particles adds a lot. So it's all about lighting again. So here's another particle screenshot. I've been running with this tank, just shooting at the ground. Got a little bit of a smoke cloud there. It doesn't look super remarkable, but it has quite a lot of interesting components here. First of all, you don't see a hard intersection between the particles and the terrain here. It's just soft and sort of just fits in. That's what we call soft particles. We do a soft fade between particle and the terrain instead of a hard C-test, which is more efficient but looks really bad actually. Because the particles you're rendering, even though they're just sprites, they're supposed to be a volumetric effect that you're rendering, so any type of hard artifact in them clipping in this geometry looks really bad. We're also combining in with some other particles here that are just alpha detectors, so they actually have hard edges on them, but they're smaller details, just create this noise. And this picture looks kind of weird with just 3 different clusters of alpha-tested debris, but in motion this looks really good on the way it interacts with stuff. It gives some sharp details to the text. And one major innovation that we've done here and experiment with Crossby 2 is to have particle shadows. So this particle cloud here actually casts a shadow on the ground. And this is something we have enabled by default when using the medium or higher shadow quality modes. It's because it can be quite heavy to render this, but it looks really more in motion. And I'll show some more pictures of that. Here we have a giant explosion that's been going off here before. And here's particle shadows on. If you just look at this picture, you can't really, well, it's a little bit difficult to tell where are the particle shadows here. And that's a good thing, because good particles, they actually fit into the environment. They just create this overall pleasing picture. You don't see a single artifact that really stands out and looks weird and says, oh, that looks wrong, and they don't have that. It's just fits together. But if I disable shadows, then you actually see a pretty major difference there. Hopefully. I also have a movie here that works. I recorded the mouse cursor here. Perfect. So here you see also in motion, and here's the disable of how the particles can sort of give life to the shadows here. Yes, this is being played up on my Mac, so don't complain about the performance. Another aspect of particles and effects in general is lighting natural particles. I actually don't know of any games that do this except for us now. Is that we have a volumetric lighting system